The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back again. Another Thursday, 7 o'clock, at least Melbourne time. Can someone just give me hands up to the volume is okay on that side? Would appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, let's begin. Just get rid of the hands up. Thank you. Now, I hope everybody had a chance to read the disclaimer, keeping in mind this is only general investment advice, not personal advice. I do not know your personal circumstance, so this is only general investment advice. I'll just move to the main screen now. Okay, as usual, we'll start off with the Dow Jones. Now, actually, just before I do start, we did have a bit of a volatile week again, and it's starting to look good, actually, for consolidation, as we expected that we should consolidate here for a little while before we actually take another dive. I certainly hope it's going to be here at least for another 6 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks. That would be really good for actual timing wise. So hopefully it does hold at around these levels and above, and hopefully it'll be a retest of the previous basically resistance area. Now also I'd like to point out is, as we usually do these webinars every 2 weeks on a Thursday, what we might actually do in the following fortnight, it'll probably be a Wednesday. I have my son's graduation year 12 ball apparently next Thursday, so I'll run it one day earlier. It has also came to my attention that for some strange reason, some people are getting the emails as to when the webinar is on next late, or don't seem to get it at all. I cannot explain why. If anyone has a problem in regards to that, the only way I can think of remedying it is to include people in my private database that as soon as I actually modify the email that goes out, I can then I send it to the appropriate people to actually send the email off to everybody. What you can do is, if you send me an email at webinars@phoenixai.com.au, but please also type in the section your actual email address, so I can then do just a cut and paste and put it into my email database. And what I'll do is, as soon as I prepare the next email that goes out, I can do a cut and paste of the whole lot onto an email and just shoot it off from my own database. So if you do have any problems that you don't get any emails at all, that's all you have to do. Okay, just literally give me your email address, but please type it in. Just don't just send an email that I'm supposed to get it out of the email and put it in. Actually type it in the comment column or something, so I can just do a cut and paste out of it. Okay, let's begin. Enough with the chit chat. So first of all, as usual, we'll look at the Dow Jones to start off with, and look at the S&P, XJO, gold, and so forth before we go to stocks and, say, the Aussie dollar. If we look at the monthly chart first, now look, monthly doesn't change a lot, does it? The only note here is worthwhile taking is that what we've seen is worth looking at this monthly chart, because the current candle is closed as of yesterday, so a new candle is going to begin. And what do we see here? Okay, what we see here is basically, it looks like a downer. I mean, at the end of the day, you can see the rising wedge has been broken and usually spells out sideways to down. It had a decent fall, but we haven't had a retracement back. We haven't had a retest back, say on the bottom support line initially, which will now be resistance, obviously, and also touching the tops across here. You can see, so I would expect at least to be some sort of retest. I know we had 1 month trying to go up, but it really didn't go very far, which was much to my surprise, to be honest with you. However, if we can continue now to maybe around these levels up here or even more, that will signal really a set for the next stage fall. There's no reason why this is going to turn around and go up now and let's say the end of the bear run. In fact, this is what I say, it's actually the beginning, not the end. In fact, if it actually has its retest, and that's what I'm counting on, I don't like using the word hope, I guess, but counting on that this is going to retest, build up for, look, it might be one strong month, it could be over 2 months, or even the 3 month and back. Again, this is the part that I look as an opportunity where we can see their test and then start seeing the fall. Again, look, as a idealistic, how far can this fall? I would rather see more data. I've been asked, to comment about this. The truth is, I want to see more data before I say this has got more to go and how much more to go. What I'm expecting to see now is a bit of a rally up, but at the same time, this might end up making a bearish flag or some other pattern, and therefore it adds weight to it. It's like this part here. Now, I'm spending more time explaining this so people can understand, and I know I've been asked to explain how I do price targeting and so forth again, because there's a handful of people that forgot how to do it. So I'm going to just explain this. Here's again, if we look at it like so, we can see here's a rising wedge again. We can see this is monthly. Look, we can see here there's a bearish pennant. Okay, we haven't seen that. There's a huge rising wedge, but we haven't seen the next stage. And you can see here, if you look at these two candles, let's pretend it's here. This had another 1, 2, 3 months before it actually decided to take a dive. Okay, and so forth. Then it had another one, and so forth. Okay, and you can target as you go down. We have not seen that here. Okay, that's the point I'm trying to make. We have not seen it here. So I strongly recommend, all right, that we have to see this consolidation here and see the next level. And as for the targeting out of this, I'll just, for the sake of this, I know there's a few people I can see that ask me, they're online wanting to see this. We go to the, when we target to the downside, we go to the top of the, as we call the pole, we go to the bottom of the pole, and we go to the breaking point of the actual pattern, in this case being a pennant, and that's its target down. Then there's another one. See, there's the pole here. There's the pennant again. We can go from there down to the bottom, down to the break. So this two patterns gave us this target. Now, once you got this and you got a consolidation here, and then you can target down, so you know there's more, or you expect more down rather than knowing more, you expect more down. You can actually do as long as you got those, you can actually do a pattern out of here. And that is from here to the touch, to where it touched last, to where it broke out from, and there's the next target down, which confirms that. Okay, and it really, then you can do it one more time, where it touched down to here, to its breaking point, and you can see that's its target there. Okay, so that was the expectation. Now, I guess if we get a pattern on this side and we get a target down, then we can basically look at this first, which is probably already there anyway. There you go. But the next touch is here. In other words, it'll be from there to there, but I cannot recommend this one yet till we get a pattern here to show that's further down. And you can see that target's down to 10,000 mark. However, because this is a major support line here, a major support line, we only trade to the support line, even though we got a low one. Now, if you're deep in the money, you've got plenty of money, you're shorted or took put options and it's going all the way down, and you might want to hold it here regardless what volatility gets there. That's your prerogative, but you have to be at the higher levels to do that. So I'll remove these targets now. So I was asked about this, so I've thought I'd comment on it as well as I can to continue on. Now, the way I just did the Dow Jones, it's the same way through all the stocks. You see these patterns, and that's the confidence you have to have. Like I said, if I was to now look, where do I go short? Where do I take put options? Where do I grant calls? I want to see something out of this, all right, like we did here. Then I would have the confidence to take the next step, okay? But from my perspective, as I've been saying now for a number of months, We've topped, we're going down. I would be getting out on the long side unless you're a very, very short-term trader. Okay, I cannot stress that enough. Not personal advice, I've got to say, remember, not personal advice. I do not know your circumstances. I do not want to know your personal circumstances. So, but that's what it is. Now, looking at the weekly, we can see we've met all our targets. Okay, we've met all our targets. And we can see on the last bar, and I'll just clean that up a little bit, maybe get rid of this target so we can see a bit better. Okay. What we can see now it actually tried to come back. The thing is, it's not the cleanest stuff here, by the way. It really isn't. Now, I don't know yet if this continues to break above. We've got a very unclean pennant, all right? Means we can target up, but it is not clean. It's a dirty thing, all right? So this can only be used as a supporting target, okay? In other words, if I was to target, I go to the bottom of the pole, I go to the highest candle within the pattern, and I can only estimate where it breaks. And that gave me that target. Now, personally, I think that's too high, but again, because that's your major support areas here, which is resistance, sorry, on the upside. It'll be resistant. So that matches that. I would be very happy if it consolidates around here personally. Okay, that will, from my perspective, I think there's more to come on the downside after that. I'll just remove that because that's not confirmed yet. Okay, so the weekly doesn't give us any more than that. Okay, so it's telling us keep watching it, and if anything, I would be planning to the downside, not the upside, unless I'm trading intraday type stuff. As we follow through, we can see on the daily, we originally hit the target down here, and still we came, which is good. In other words, if this is the low, and this starts to go up now, this will be a lower high, okay? Sorry, a lower low, what am I saying to myself? It'll be a higher low. So if this continues, breaks above this area here, that confirms to a higher low. That means it would certainly, I'd be looking, where's it going to stop? How's it going to consolidate? What pattern has it done? And then I'll start looking for shorting again. Okay, cold comfort for those that saying, is this the turnaround? This is still the infancy of the downturn as far as I'm looking at this. Okay, that's the Dow Jones. As I said, there's nothing much I can do on the daily unless you're looking at it on an intraday basis, and you might see other patterns on that basis. Okay, now the S&P 500. Next, we shouldn't be expecting much difference, should we? Look, looking at the monthly, we still haven't even hit the target, right? And that was based out of this touch. Okay, so again, I'm expecting the same thing: consolidation to the up. Again, look, no difference where the Dow was. Look, there's a bearish flag there, and a bearish little flag there. For those that can't see it, let me draw it for you. There, clone. Okay, again here, another little bearish flag there. So you can see, or pennant, sorry. So you can see in this case here, these are the continuation to the downturn. We have not seen that. The only time you can target out of all this really is when you see the next one down. Yes, you can do the first one to give you an indication of price, but ideally, if we start targeting, if we get a bearish pattern here, this might be a bearish flag, then we can again go and do this. There's your target next down. So if you get a bearish flag here, this is my expectation. I will anticipate that type of move, and I will try to put some sort of strategy in place, be it writing calls or taking puts or going short. CFD, personally, I don't like CFDs per se. I would rather pay more on the stock and go short in the stock itself, only because I think then I'm playing with a real market, with a CFD market. Usually you can get over-exaggerated one way or the other. Again, that's just preference choice. If you can handle that, go for it, either way. But that's the way I'd be looking at it. Again, I can't really keep there because I don't have a continuation pattern there, okay? You need that continuation pattern. Once you have that confirmation, look, and it gets there, then you can move your target from there, then to there, and you know, you're right on the borderlines anyway. So go to the weekly. as we can see the weekly, look, it's pretty much the same as the Dow. Look, this one hit its target, came into the target line, consolidation. There's nothing there I can say, now this is going to continue down further, because I haven't really had the full continuation. Now, technically speaking, I might have to even come back and revisit the Dow, by the way, because it's not clean. You might, that if this comes back, this is actually a continuation of, actually there is a continuation here, but usually where patterns fail, it's literally just at the support area. So you really need to see that breakthrough. Again, we haven't really had any push-ups yet, so again, I would expect still a push-up. I think this is still a little bit premature, but I will leave this one there because it does exist, although again, it's not the cleanest, but it's not too bad either. Looking at this on the daily, we didn't know if it was going to break down or up. I did an up target. We thought if it was going to go there, and then it failed. It also, let me just delete that for now. And ideally, I'll just do what we did on the weekly, like so. And remember, this only became valid as of how many days ago? So I don't think you can clone, no. So remove that. And because this is only got 2 points only, again, if it failed, that's where it fails, around these areas here, and it stopped in reversing. If this now goes through here, we know this is not valid, and we really got to look at it more on the monthly, and the monthly doesn't show that. Ideally, you want to see it on the monthly because it's a big picture move. Daily is a small picture move. Weekly is the medium picture move. If we go back and revisit the weekly and look at weekly and monthly at the same time, look, it looks okay, but not on the monthly. We haven't had it on the monthly. You need the monthly continuation pattern that gives it weight. Okay, that gives it weight. So I'll just also delete that one. Okay. And that's INX. Let's have a look at gold, actually. I haven't looked at gold for 2 weeks since we did it last time. Okay, on a monthly, we're still exactly as we were looking at it last time. So we're in this very tight consolidation. Something's got to give very soon, I would say, looking at this. But it's a hold and see, and this might be making, if we look closely, and let's just clean that up just a little bit here. I'm going to delete that one for a minute just to see it better. And I reckon this one's gone too at the moment. I'll just redraw the top one. Like so. However, looking at this, we might be doing this at the moment. Oops. And this line keeps getting in my way. Let me just do that again. Oh, wrong one, you bugger. So it's like that still. Look. So if this ends up being a pennant, we can start on the downside, we can start targeting up. That's support, so we really can't add any more, but this is the target from the overall patterns to here. So you would expect this will have a fall. Now, if that does, what consequences would that be on the share market also? You can take that into consideration. If we look at on the weekly, here's your weekly. This is where we hit the target initially, and we said this might be a continuation, and it wasn't, unfortunately. Okay, and now I'll just remove the targets. No good there anymore. Let's have a look what it's given us on the, well, like so. So that's the pattern it's currently generating, and we can probably, let's have a look if it does anything here for us. It's probably actually like that. I'll leave it as a dotted line. Actually, we can take it in a bit further. Like so. And like so. That validates it still. Now, what it's doing is a little symmetrical triangle. Whichever way it's going to break. If it breaks to the downside, we can target down. If it breaks to the upside, we can target up. So on the monthly, this looks like more like a pennant. On the weekly, we can see it's a symmetrical triangle. There's your mare's tail. In fact, you can still have a huge mare's tail through here. So it's still valid from that perspective. We go to the daily. This needs a bit of cleaning up now, but I'll just remove some. Get rid of those. They're not valid anymore. Again, no different to what we did just before. We can take this and continue on like that. We can take that and go that way. Again, that's your symmetrical. And as a target up, anyone was following this could have done this. And there's your target. Off that, you had a flag here. And your target out of that one would have been from here to there to there. Basically, just missed its target, unfortunately. But you should have looked at this, would have been almost like a little top, two tops together. So anyway, we are in a symmetrical, and I'll just delete it a little bit. We are in a symmetrical, and this is support. See which way it's going to break. And you can plan a trade off that. Okay, that was gold. Now the ASX 200. Excuse me. Let's look at the monthly. Now, what we've experienced this month, you can see this month's bar chart has closed below. Okay. Now, we can see a green candle to the upside. However, it's right on resistance. We shouldn't be surprised now if this does break it on the upside and continues up higher, but it all comes down to where does it end for the month. Now, the other issue that we got, yes, this was a major support area when it was coming in. You can see it came below, came above. Even this candle was below. It was actually staying literally above this line till this week that actually decided to take a dive. Now, let me explain some of the issues that we have. Unfortunately, what we got is very long tails, okay? Very long tails. The truth is, because we get long tails, the problem that you've got, do you take and cut a tail here and move it here? So that becomes the new low. The only thing you can do is now watch what happens here and where the next support occurs, okay? Because if that's the case and you find that this belongs there, and then does it really belong there or a bit below, sort of there? And that becomes the next basically point of support, because it's changed its dynamics. So don't assume when you have a line that's perfect, that's where it's supposed to be and that's the end of it. Don't make that assumption, okay? Now, ideally, what we really got to do, and I can't get over this, my mouse nearly died. Not what I need it right now. We really do have to put this back, okay? I just did that to make a point, because it will still act, because these are the most lowest points that it has been, as you can see, okay? And it did respect that for a while, so we know those dynamics work. However, if this starts to do something different, you need to consider this line if it actually is effective at that point. Now, if this breaks right through and it goes back up and actually stops right there and then comes back up, you can say, you know what, I can still leave it there. However, if it alters a bit and comes down below and it starts doing it up and down this line, then you say, does it belong slightly different than what it did before? So you've got to keep that in mind, okay? So anyway, I will leave it there, and you can see where it is now. It's right on resistance. It stopped on resistance. Let's go to the weekly. we were building this scenario, this picture here, okay, which ideally, if it actually broke, because remember this is weekly, and it didn't close, it did not, and this week's still happening, didn't close below here, so we can't say we can target this down, can we? If this closed below, then we can start targeting this down. It would have been a huge down move, okay? Usually, they are pretty good. However, remember, we had major support on the monthly that basically said, you know what, this is where we are in this, and it hasn't clearly. And remember, when we look at the monthly, we'll just go back again, all right? We, on the monthly, there's been no continuation pattern. If you get a continuation pattern on the monthly and you get it on the weekly, you know then this is strong and dynamic. That's why I was very reluctant for the past month or so to say, you know what, this is going to go all the way down. It could have, but I said I should expect a rally or something to the upside. I've been expecting an up move since we had that low down here. I was expecting, because we've never had a continuation pattern here yet. That's been the big problem, okay? We've never had that. If we get a continuation pattern to a downturn, let's say this ends up making a flag or a pennant, then on this, we're going to have a huge move down, okay? And that's what I'm expecting it to do, okay? That's what I'm expecting it to do. I thought when I saw this, you know what, it might be all over, and I might be wrong. There shouldn't be an expectation, but I think we still got a chance that it's going to rally up here somewhere before we actually see the downturn. Okay, let's go to the daily now. The daily, you can see broke and then straight back up again. This is now useless. However, the top line is not useless because it is still its resistance point. So let's see how it does it. Now, again, what the bottom's occurring, look, I know it doesn't touch there, but it's pretty close. It's basically what we're looking at is a descending triangle. Now, how many bars have we got just to qualify that? We should be okay, because even it actually comes from here, from this point, and to this point here. We measure and we see 29 bars. We got more than enough bars. You need at least 22, 25 bars to make a daily pattern per se. And this is still a descending triangle now because it actually went back there. There's your original low, the original kick off the previous high from the low, all right? And that's gone a bit above it. So we can say, yep, that's where that is, and that's still validated. So that means we can draw the line down and say, we can consider this point. We can say, yep, that's a parallel line there, which gives it a descending triangle. So you can target if it breaks on the above side, or you can target if it goes on the downside. Again, remember this line here is a point of resistance, although I would expect this goes up to the upside, should break this line and end up somewhere up here. So, but I myself wouldn't want to trade it to the upside. I'd be looking for the opportunity to the downside. Again, I hope that makes sense for everybody. And that's the XJO. Now, let's go and start looking at the stocks. And first one is, again, everybody seems to love the banks. So here we go, the banks again. As we can see, look, we hit the last target there, rising wedge. All right, plenty touches at the bottom, validated. We did have a pattern here. All right, there's a, can I expand this one just a little bit if I make it a bit bigger? Look, it's not the clean. Look, it's okay, but it's small too. Okay, because that's right. It occurred right on the line where the breakout is. Now, that's the target it gave us anyway. All right, and also, we did the target from here to there, mattered also on there. The next target going down on the rising wedge is to here, and we said we would only consider this here. Now, looking at it, we're trying to see what next pattern is going to occur here so we can actually target down. So we might see a pennant, we might see a flag forming here. So again, at least this is basically telling us it's doing the next pattern. Now, watch what happens here, or watch it on the weekly, because this one's already confirmed the downturn. You've got the continuation, like we've been looking on the XJO, we didn't get it. However, we do have it here on this rising wedge and the continuation pennant on ANZ. Looking at the weekly, what we want to see now is, as we saw on the monthly, whatever this pattern is next. Remember, this stopped right on, if you forget about this line here, just pretend starts from there onwards, we see a horn, okay? So that's the horn. So this is at the bottom of the horn, and I would suspect, if anything, we should see a rally again, as we said last time. So I still hold the view we really should see an upside swing. Again, personally, I wouldn't be trading the upside. That's me. Everybody's got different risk tolerances. I'm confident to the downside. I would be looking for a position to the downside once it does have a rally, consolidates, creates something else, another pattern, then I see the downswing. Everybody's different, but that's me. On the daily, again, huge head and shoulders, even a diamond formation here, like that. That's a diamond formation, and the diamond gave us a down target. This, as it stands at the moment, it's cleaning. It was very messy here and there. Well, again, what we really have now is probably still from here and here. Again, we have a descending triangle. We see consolidations, and I still have the view this should actually come up to these levels. Should. Can't be 100%, but if I see some of these, if I see this thing rallying up there, I'd be looking, where do I look to take a short position? Or take some put options. ANZ. Next one is CBA. Oh, didn't I type it in? Oops, my pen. CBA. Again, CBA, as we look at the ANZ, look, rising wedge, which is a full reversal. It's a top, had a continuation pattern, met its target, or it just might have missed it. I went to extremes here. The initial target is, if you go and use the full length of the week, you got to go to the lowest body. I went all the way to the bottom, I think. That's the extreme target. And there's your target. So that already hit. Just didn't go to its extreme level. Again, let's look what it consolidates here, what pattern it's going to make, and then the second continuation, right? So this one's definitely still reversing. I would suspect we should see it down here somewhere to this area here. Can it go lower? Of course it can. But I would suspect it to those levels anyway. Again, on the daily, this did break below, and target-wise, we go from here to the lowest point. We could have taken that lower target, not as low target, it would have been from there, so there's two targets, but let's do this one. Oops, I stuffed it up. Of course I did. Do it again. So from here to the lowest body to its breakout point, and there's your target there. Okay, so that already has been met. So that's useless at the moment. We might as well remove that line. It's no good to us anymore. So all we can draw in this case here is the continuation of this and see if it's going to become just its resistance point. And that's all you can really do. In fact, if we clone that, it probably will marry the other one. Look. There. Pretty close to it. So it's in this type of formation, so you really can't do much. For those that are holding this and want to exit this, look, you might get a chance and you might come back here, close this gap. You might get lucky and go even some of the others, I don't know. But if you are holding this and you're waiting for it and it gets up here, personally, again, I'd be looking to exit, and because I'll be looking to short, do something like that. National Australia Bank. I'll just delete the top line. Look, it's not a really nice rising wedge, is it? But what we did have originally, remember, we had a flag here, target it, hit its target. Let me remove this line here. Okay. Again, I suppose when you look at it, is, like I said, not a very clean rising wedge, unfortunately. You do have 1, 2, 3 tops that touching. This one's close to touching, so it's considered a touch. And you got 1, 2, 3, 4 touches at the bottom where this was tried to break through here, didn't eventually break through below. So it's again making another pattern here. So again, this is telling us, remember we were looking at the Dow and the XJO, we didn't have that continuation. As you can see, the banks do. Okay, and the thing is, if this now has a next target down, what you really would be looking at is this. If I go to the top here, I'll only go to the body, that touch there, but I can only go to the body there. If this has a continuation pattern, that's going to be your next target down. It'll have one hell of a fall. Okay, so you really got to watch it carefully. In fact, if you start looking at a pattern here, then you're looking at another target, which probably bring it to there, and you'll probably get another one before it goes to something like that. So I'll remove this because we haven't got the next continuation yet. Okay, because if this stayed as it is, you see that green candle there now, I'll just enlarge it so you can see a bit better. Okay. You can see that green candle there, which is the current month, which is only today, basically. If that stays in this range and another candle forms, you could make a flag or a pennant or something. Okay, so we need to watch this very carefully because this can trigger a next move based on what it occurs. So I guess what I'm saying is, if this month, the next month stays up the top side, I reckon this is where we're going to see our next flag or pennant, because if this comes up to around these levels, guess what? We got a flag or a pennant. So we're seeing that happening at the moment. So that's why I believe there would be this rally. I don't know if it's going to go to appear somewhere, but if we draw a line across, it might consolidate to about these levels. So watch it very carefully. Watch this space. All right. So the banks seem to be making the same patterns. Okay. So again, as we did with the previous bank, I think it was Commonwealth Bank that we do the same with this one. Okay, and again, at the bottom, you can see, okay, again, what's this again? A falling, or I'm going bananas here, a descending triangle. I'll draw this a little bit better too. I think it's more like there, okay. So again, a descending triangle, you can target on the upside. If it breaks to the up, you'll be going click from here to the next touch of the line there, then to the breakout, whatever it's breaking out, click there, and that will give you the target up. But remember, you've also got a very strong resistance point there, okay? A very strong resistance point, because that was part of its neckline, head and shoulder. Head, shoulder, shoulder, neckline. It can come inside the neckline, then fail. You know, it's still acceptable, but I'm expecting a retest. That was National Australia Bank. Tick that off the list. Next bank, Westpac. Again, when you look at the monthly, there's your target down. It didn't get there, did it? Because major resistance here in this case stopped it. Again, it's still a rising wedge. Look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4 touches on top. 1, 2, look, 3, 4, and this is where it is. So this is not over yet. Obviously, the support there was support here and actually came into this consolidation phase. In fact, I might see something else here. Where are we here? From there, is it? Yeah. From there. See, this is a sandwich. Remember, for those that are not familiar with the term, a sandwich is, in this case, you can see the price was going up to a higher point. We take that point, we take the bottom point here, okay, and it actually stopped at this point and bounced off. Now, the truth is, we don't have a very strong sandwich here because it can get twisted down, so to speak. But it is a good support point. And yes, it stopped there. Okay, now, also from this, what we can look at is, unfortunately, clean, you see, was trying to make a rising wedge. Oh, excuse me, my voice. Trying to make a rising wedge, but didn't quite, sorry, a horn, but didn't quite fulfill it. So that's how that stands right now. And again, it's consolidation point, pretty much what the other banks are doing. If we go to the daily, sorry, that was the monthly, go to the weekly first. And looking at the weekly, we can see potentially this is what we had here. We had the flag, the bearish flag, and we're trying to use it for a down target. The bugger started to break it and came back above this line. And we have to say, at the moment, it has not followed through its flag. Remember, it's got to close below to say this is a flag. So this is still a potential flag, but it can certainly turn around and do something else. Okay, but it is also a pretty good, when we look at this, head and shoulders. Shoulder, head, shoulder, neckline. Okay, so let's wait and see what happens there also. On the daily, again, from the top, we can officially draw that. This now, the bottom has really changed scenario. And unfortunately here, it's not that clean. Look, it's pretty close, so I can leave it there, but it's not a clean pattern. But yes, we can still utilize it. Okay. These are not important anymore. Have a look. Again, head, get rid of those. Head, shoulder, shoulder, neckline. Not the cleanest, but it's still acceptable. And this has had a bit of a retest, and again, it's still in the same boat. What we can probably add to it also, I'll probably take it from here, is that now, if that breaks through here, the first resistance point, then I would watch that one, and then if this adds some value to it, so to speak, to see there, I would then remove it if it goes to that level and so forth. Macquarie Bank, MQG. Still in a huge channel. Went to the top, came to the bottom of the channel. See what pattern it really does. You can't do much more than that on the monthly. This one has not collapsed yet. You can see it's right on the support area. Have to watch it collapse, but if it collapses around anywhere around here, then we start targeting down nicely. You can technically go up back to this level and make even a double top. So you really want to watch still. Again, I wouldn't be on the long side. I think it's suicidal, not personal advice. I cannot keep stressing that. However, if it comes back to a double top, I'll start looking to lower time frames. How do I take advantage of a short? Because if this goes double top, you've got a double top pattern and you've got a channel breakout pattern. So on a weekly, we clearly have a double top anyway. Okay. It also had an ascending triangle and a double top. So all these targets came in play. It has worked. Let's just remove this one to see clearly. And we can see here, is this trying to make a bullish flag? I don't know. one to watch. I certainly wouldn't expect it to go way past there or anything, but we can target conservatively if it does, probably from here. I don't believe it'll go up there, but anyway. However, if it gets anywhere around these levels, I'd start looking. And the beauty of it, if it is, this will then become the base of a huge double top from here. Okay, the consolidation, and you'll have a huge target down. So I'm not very pessimist, am I? But I see that as an opportunity. Again, what are we looking at here? We need to see it higher because will be, see, if you want it there, you need to see it higher. I'm not even going to bother putting a line here on this because I want to see more. If you want to see support or resistance, I should say resistance, I would put it there and see where it breaks up from. I wouldn't add anything else. I'd leave these lines in case it starts to go up higher. I will extend those to see where, if it becomes a resistance point. Then I would draw a line parallel to see if that gets anywhere near that. So Macquarie, watch it very closely. If it gets anywhere near, like we did on the weekly up here, we're then talking about major double tops, okay? I believe it's already got it, mind you, a major double top anyway here, but if it comes there, on the weekly it'll be a triple top, and on the monthly it'll be a double top. Very strong shorting position potential. Like I said, I've been saying that for a while. I hope it does that because it gives me an opportunity to take advantage of a fantastic shorting position. IAG. Monthly again. Horn broke down, head and shoulder. Mate, it doesn't get much better than that. I mean, here we are. Shoulder, head, shoulder, horn, and basically on top of that, you got a pennant. So you got all these beautiful targets to the down. This is already broken on a major downturn. It's fulfilled its pattern so far. All you're looking for on this, you got all these down targets. All you need is, if you're not in this at the moment, I would be still holding my short positions on this. If I was there and I took it from here or there, I'd be holding my short position to see. If I'm not short yet, I'd be looking for the next basically down pattern, which I believe it's generating at the moment. And once that's done, I would then position myself further for a further down to at least these levels. Can I go lower? Absolutely you can. But I want to see another continuation pattern. On a weekly, again, shoulder, head, shoulder, double top, triple top, consolidation. They had the little up move to here, stop on the resistance point, and then down she goes. What pattern is doing here? That's what we have to see for the next level down. Again, when you look at this also, there's your huge horn. Looks beautiful on the monthly. So all we're looking for is another move down. Okay. On the daily, that's what we're looking for. Consolidation and for the next move down. All right. There's nothing more I can really add to this. You're just looking for the next position. This is not an up move. It's a nice upwards position for a down move. Like I said, I'm not trying to be a total pessimist, but the bottom line is we trade what we see, not what we think. And what we're seeing is down moves and consolidations at the moment. BHP. Monthly, look, mare's tail, it's telling us down. Our next target is still on the monthly at least at $18, $19. Then we have one, if it gets to here, and then obviously if I'm short from up here, I'm holding it to here. I would then hold it for potential more because I've taken it up there. If you're not in now, you need to see the next pattern for a down move. You can't do any more than that. You need to see the next pattern for a down move. Let's look at the weekly. That gives us a bit more picture. From the weekly, today or this week, we've met our target. The 2168.6 target just came in with its tail, as you can see. So we've met that target, and that was out of this triangle and also confirmation from this bearish flag. So this target has been met. Okay, so we do have a lower target, but we need if we're not in now, we need a pattern here to tell us where to get in. Okay, if you're not in, you need to stay out till you get the next continuation pattern. The monthly is telling us we've got lower prices to come. Okay, I cannot stress that enough. We go into the daily. You can see on the daily, we've met all our targets. Target. This, yes, a couple of days, 3 days ago, counting today. Okay, 2 days ago. 2 days ago, the low. So we hit the target. That's it. Now we have to let it consolidate before we start looking at the next target down. And sure enough, we got resistance here, and we can go even, it has, as you can see, an accelerator. So this might go up here, more volatile up and down. Wait and see. But this is not the time to get in short. You need now to see the next potential target to the downside for the next short position. Remember on this, on the monthly, we have a mare's tail telling us lower prices to come. This is really giving a mare's tail on the weekly, and you can see that follow through all the way. So patience. Things, as I say, Rome wasn't built in a day. That's BHP. I don't know what else to add. You can see targets are still down. Next one is Telstra. Again, look at the monthly off that. We can see, you know what, first target's been on the monthly's hit. We see lower targets still. So you shouldn't be getting in now to go short. You need to wait for another pattern to get short. But the monthly's telling us lower prices to come. Okay. The weekly's telling us lower prices to come, and we're trying to see another bearish pattern here, so we can get the next target down to here. Okay, but the patterns are saying lower prices to come. So wait for the next position before you take the next short position. And you can see this is a huge, huge broadening formation for Telstra. Daily, we can see the consolidation here, and yes, it broke out through this consolidation pattern. So let's see what pattern it does here to tell us what to do next. But there's nothing here we can do at this point. I mean, look, other than maybe you can say, you know what, I can probably add that there, probably, or there, so you can move either way still. It's still floating. That's correct there. There's nothing else you can do. Wait and see how far it goes up, what other pattern it gives us, and then we can start looking to the downside again. As you can see, we're really going quite fast through these because, look, remember these targets we planned in the past webinars. We're saying when that happens, that's what happens. Where do you get in? We're looking for opportunity to get in. Okay, if you're not in, you don't chase it because you don't know, you'll get caught in the whipsaw. You know, you go short and the bloody thing turns around, you take a loss, and then you go long and the bloody thing turns around, you take a loss. You need to plan your trade and trade your plan. Okay, you've been following these webinars now. I've been not quite 12 months. I think I started them in December. Where we're 9 months, whatever it is. If you look right through, we've been saying top. We're at the tops. We're at the tops. We're at the tops, or very little upside. You know, look for the opportunity. You saw the patterns that are coming up. You take the position. You calculate how long it roughly will take. If you're doing a short position, just CFDs or going short, you're okay with that. Just remember, make sure you don't get caught in the dividend cycle because you'll have to be paying it up. Or you look at put options, and especially if you see, you know, let's say you calculate something, it's going to take 6 months. You know what? You allow 9 to 12 months, okay? And you would have been cleaning up if you took these trades even 4 months ago, 5 months ago. You'd be cleaning up now in all these. That's TLS we said. WPL. Did I type WPL? No, I didn't. WPL. Again, there's your target. There's your flag. We had major support here. Like I said, if you took it from up there, you don't care what happens in between here. But I'd still, if I took this trade up there, you know, off the weekly, obviously, or the daily at the time, and I was managing that trade, I'd still be holding. I wouldn't be out at the moment. I'd still be short, or I still hold my options if I've got plenty of time left. Okay, so that's how you got to look at it. Now, that's your monthly. That's the target that we have of these. But the truth of the matter is, once it gets to this target, right, but it's got to get to there first. And I'll do this target. I'll take it off later, because what you've got here is you have a descending triangle, okay? And how we calculate down is from there, breakout point, then we look down the $20 mark. Now, I'm not going to leave this $20 because we need another pattern before we can even say $20. So if we had a bearish flag of pen and starts to break down, then that becomes very, very valid, okay? But it's not valid yet. So you can see the potential down to $20 from would be around, if you get this there and you get on it around the 24 mark, you're looking at another $4 plus down, okay? So if we go to the weekly now, we can see, my mouse, I just changed these damn batteries and I can't believe it's dying on me. Sorry about this, I hope it lasts me out. I only just changed the batteries yesterday. I bought these, about those pack of 20s, and I think I got duds in them. Anyway, let's extend this line here, my extension. I can go bang down to here, and you can see I'm nowhere near it, so that's fine. Okay, anyway, before battery dies there. And also we can go, it's sort of, you can see, you know, we said a broadening formation to the upside. This is a broadening formation to the downside, okay? So there is more downside to come, again. So I'm looking for another down target, another consolidation here. Then I can start planning to the downside. You can see out of this pattern, you can see if we had to do the full target down, sorry again, from there to there to the breakdown there, that's its target down off the mare's tail, all right? I'll just remove that for now. So you can see that's already met its target, so it's consolidation, and then broadening formation up here for another huge, if this is a flag here, you'll be targeting from there to there and wherever the breakout occurs. So potentially you look at a huge move down, like we said, probably down to the $24, $23 mark, okay? On the daily, we're looking, what pattern are we going to get next? Now, this current price really needed to appear above this point to validate it. If we get that, we can say then, we can draw a line then like that. Now, again, you know, I really shouldn't have this line there because I need that higher point. And that's what it really is looking like at the moment. I'll leave it for now, but primarily, this line will be only really valid if it actually goes past this point. Once it does that, then I'll say it's validated, okay? Now, this might be good because if this breaks up, you'll have potentially making another flag. This will appear on the weekly like a flag, which will be good. And I really can't say again. So again, lower prices for this. Now, what does Woodside do? Oil, isn't it? Gas and oil? Well, oil, I'm still calling down lower. And I think I had a target of what, low 40s, high 30s or something, possibly even lower than that. So next one is Woolworths. So what we had a flag here. I reckon we did that from there, didn't we? Probably should have done that. So I want to explain something. I didn't. The reason why I want to explain this, I didn't do a conservative target, which is sad. I should have picked that up earlier. Look, here's a flag, right? And I guess the pole is up there. You can see this is a very, very, very large wick. What I really, this, I think I did the price target from there, I'm not sure. I should have done it from there. Let me just double check if it is. Because I took the wick, I should go to the body and the breakout point. Yeah, it's still there anyway, which is all right. Still valid then. I was a bit worried about that. I might have did the wrong one. So the first target's been reached. If you're short, I'd still be holding the short position. If I took it from here, I'd still be holding the short position. But again, remember, this is a huge consolidation point, okay? So I would only be trying to trade it to that. If I see it's very bearish and it's going to break through there, yeah, I'll hold it. But if I see it's struggling and it wants to rally from here, I'll cut my profit there and I'll replan another trade underneath it. Okay, that's the way I will be treating Woolworths. As a monthly chart, this really, let me just return it back to where it was. We can see a huge consolidation phase, plenty of touches. So look, it's in a bear mode, clearly. I mean, it's been up from $38, we're down to 24. I mean, we're already $14 nearly down at the moment anyway from its pre-high. So that's a sizable drop in its own right. But this is a major consolidation spot. It's going to bounce or whatever here. So any trades to the downside, be very careful at this point. Looking at the weekly, to narrow into it, we can see, actually that's not valid anymore. I put it there because at one touch here, one touch there, and then we can see it's, basically broke below it, but then went above it. I think we can remove this now, and let's have a look at probably. No, it's not. That cuts back into it, so it's not good enough to do that, really. Yeah, no. Get rid of that. Let me try this bit from up here. It's cutting into everything. It's unusual, actually. You can see from the weekly, when you look at this part, that's its raising wedge. Now, because that's actually broken through, what we can do is see if there's any major target on the downside. That's its high. And the last, oh, what happened there? Start again. Sorry, that's its high. The last touch was actually here, there, and auto size. That's its target, actually down to $22. $22. Not the cleanest, I've got to say at this point. Let me have a look, clone that. I think I've got too many bars in here anyway, by the looks of it. That's a stop loss. That was a wrong tool. 10 bars. No, it's still okay, actually. But again, it's pretty close on its tail. No, I can't. That's too close to this pole, unfortunately. Nope. How about from here? Just trying to find a channel that would fit, actually. Actually, yes, it will. I just noticed it. To the last screen. It's about the cleanest I can find. And you can see what I've done is, look, it's not sandwiched or anything, but it's going from top, cutting across, although I've got one red candle above it. Again, it's not the cleanest, it's not clean, but I'm trying to justify support somewhere, okay? Now, if I clone this line, see what it does for me. See, it's still, no, it doesn't quite work on that side. I'll take that back on that point. Take that rid of that one. Look, as a support point, then it's considered one, and then there's your two touches considering the wall there. I would leave it there for now. I'm not happy with it, but it's the next closest things I can get. I'll probably have a look at it next week and see where it is, or the week after when we have the next webinar, and see if it's really validated. So to me, that's a bit of an assumption at the moment than anything else. It's only one candle out. It's not the best, but it will do for support just for the moment. Okay, so I can't be 100% certain on it, unfortunately. Let's go to the daily. The only thing we can really add to this now is how about from here? That, and let's have a look if this resistance actually supports that. It'll go through. If it goes through, it's useless. All right, so there really isn't much else you can do with this. It really isn't. No, see, look, no matter what I do, there's nothing you can do with it. Again, you got to look at the picture where you are. What are you trying to achieve? Okay, if you look at the picture, and let me go to back to here, you can see on the monthly we got lower prices to come, at least to the 2354 level, in order to get the next brick wall. But there's targets lower. So what are we trying to achieve? We're saying there's lower targets to come. So even though I'm putting this line, I'm trying to justify what it's doing right now. That's what I'm trying to do, trying to justify it. If it bounces off and comes back, somehow touches it again, yeah, maybe, it's saying there's some sort of support there. But what am I really saying? What I'm really saying is that, what we're really looking at is we know there's lower, well, I won't use the word no. We expect lower prices to come based on the analysis that we're doing. We're expecting it. So what are we looking for? We're looking for an entry point where we can enter for the downside. That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to justify what it's doing now, and then we're looking for a pattern that says, you know what, jump on board for the next ride down. That's all we're going to try to find. And what this dotted line does, besides showing that support there, if you look at the top red line, we've got a broadening formation on a weekly. All right. Now, by justifying that, and this kicks back up, then we expect it to continue down to the next level of this broadening line, to the next target down. So that's what we're really trying to say. So again, all we're saying is lower prices to come. And where do we enter to get on the lower prices to come? Now, the next one is MNS. Now, what's actually MNS? We've done this before, I'm sure of it. Okay. Here we are. Actually, no, let's go to the monthly first. Based on this formation, which is a bull hook, telling us higher prices to come. And looking at this, it's still saying higher prices to come. Okay. Strangely, the entire resource sector taking a hit, but this is still looking okay. Looking at the weekly next. Look, weekly saying higher prices to come. The pattern still stands. If we look what's happening now, it really is a pennant. So this, again, is saying higher prices to come. It's still saying that. It has not altered. On the daily, we had a potential flag, but unfortunately broke to the downside. So it wasn't a flag anymore. All right, so let's get rid of that. And we've hit these targets, so let's get rid of that. And let's look what we've got at the moment. Well, first of all, okay, a symmetrical triangle. There's more than enough data to say this is a symmetrical triangle. So what we really got to do is do a price target if it breaks up and a price target if it breaks down. Sorry, let's just get rid of these targets now. Remember, the weekly at the moment and the monthly are still saying higher prices to come. However, if we first do that, because on the upside, we can only estimate roughly if it goes straight up and breaks out, right? And that's to previous high. And if it breaks on the downside, what you do? Start again on that one. And that's the downside. I don't know which way it's going to break. Okay, so again, it's a symmetrical triangle. I think, if I remember correctly, when we did this also, we were quite surprised how we had up targets and everything else was saying down targets. I was quite surprised on that one. So, but it still stands. Again, trade what you see, not what you think. And remember, when we did this last, we had a potential bullish flag. The flag failed, so it wasn't a point of re-entry. Okay, now this is the point. So if you're not in the market, I would wait till you break one way or the other before you make any decision. Now, if it were to fail, let's say it breaks on the upside. If it were to fail, it would fail around these levels, okay, or the downside. Now, as a symmetrical triangle, you can get more than one price target. We did the smallest one. The next one is like that. As you can see, higher. And again, even higher again. Now, I'm not going to leave these here, by the way, because I'll remove them now. And obviously, the opposite occurs to the downside. You go from there to its breakout, then from there to its breakout. Okay? Remember, these are just estimates at the moment. Okay, I'll leave these two on there. But remember, you're going to look on both sides of it. That was MNS. Next one, NST, November Sierra Tango. Again, with this, on the monthly, we set a potential flag. If it breaks on the upside, and this is where it is right now up there, okay? There's a potential. So breaking on the upside, it still holds. The target is valid, but remember, this is in a rising wedge formation. Yes, it can go higher, but I reckon this will be its resistance points. So I don't expect to hit the target, but yes, never know. It might get an intra high and back down. I don't know. Anything's possible, but I would only be conservative to that. On the weekly, if you look at it from this perspective, this way and that way, consolidation, there's the next price target. And my extending line is this, like so. And obviously, because it's got a new high now, we can do an accelerator trend that goes from here, like so, which is really almost mirroring the long-term trend line, isn't it? Okay, so this is still valid to the upside to the $3.27. All right, then obviously high target after that, but primarily 327 is ideal. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm still maintaining that. On the daily, we did the last time there, still valid. And look, if you have a closer look, here we are, beautiful flag. All right, and target bottom of the flagpole to the top of the flagpole to his break up of the break on the flag. $2.99, $3. Okay, still valid. And you know what? Is it making another bearish bullish flag there? Got to watch it a bit more here. I'm not 100%, but it might be some more before he does anything. But if it is, you're going to get another target to the upside, even higher than that. Okay, so that still holds. That was NST. Then I've got SRF. While everything else is going down, this is going up beautifully. On the monthly, I really can't do anything here. Not enough data. Really, not enough data. Even on the weekly, you can see not enough data. I think dailies the only way you can really utilize. I think the only real thing this thing is demonstrating here is probably about close as that. I think a support is around $1.52. So $1.50 to be safe. Around $1.51. You know, if this was higher, at least you can look at a better target, but it's very hard. In other words, if you're targeting out of this symmetrical triangle, it would be nice if this was up here somewhere. You'd be going from there to its breakout point, probably here. And then you can utilize that. So it would have been up here. It's not clean enough. And then from here. Again, it's got to break this levels here first. But there's not enough data. You'd hope if you had weekly data, you could have done something better when it's all consolidated. But even the weekly data, there's not enough of it to really make any real difference. You know, when you look at your weekly data, you know, where do you start there? There's no specific point on it. That's why you can't. There's no. I'll remove that. It's not good enough. Not good enough. I can't do any more with that one again. Sorry. All right, now that's the shares. The next thing I'm going to do is the Aussie dollar. Oh, what's this? ARI scale on NST. ARI. Sorry, I just saw something. A mixed scale. Let's look at NST. Sorry. NST. How is that possible? Am I blind or something? No, it's log. On NST, I've got log scale. NST, yeah, it's log. Here it is here. I wouldn't be using arithmetic scale, guy. Here, Pete, on daily. Oh, shivers. Thanks for that. I didn't even notice it. Let's see if it makes any difference. All these are adjusted accordingly when I do the log scale. So that's the targets that stands. Thanks for that. I'll just save that. Save it, workspace, save. Okay, it's all saved there. Okay, thank you for that. Didn't notice that before. Yeah, if someone, look, I use log scale for everything, so if anyone picks that up, please let me know. Sometimes you get entrenched in doing what you're doing, you don't look at every single dialogue box that you probably should look at. Okay, Aussie dollar. Oh, what did I do again? AUD equals. Monthly. I cannot remember in the last fortnight when we done the Aussie dollar, I had my dotted line across as the main trend line a couple of weeks ago, yeah. And I come up when I was looking at it during the week, I just realized there was a sandwich there and I didn't even pick it up. I was trying to work out, it broke below here, but why did it stop there? I was scratching my head, literally, you know. I mean, yeah, I can clone the line and add this line parallel, and guess what? Where that low is, it actually managed to stop on the same low. But what gave it weight, strength to stop at that? And then it just jumped at me. If you take the low from here, touch the highs here, and go right across, cut, and make sure you don't cut any of the bodies. You actually are on, you cut tails, but that's it. You're on the bodies. You stop right there. And that gave me weight that there is major support here on the Aussie dollar. Now, I had a target, as we did last time. We'll see in a minute the daily target. That actually hit that anyway. But I was scratching my head. I need something major to support it here. And this is a major support line. So for this to break below that, it really needs a lot of power behind it to break. So I don't see any sudden breaks all of a sudden, not for a while at least anyway. Okay, so the monthly to me again now is consolidation. Is it going to do another period of this length like it did here before any lower prices to come, or is this the total bottom? And if it is, we extend this line. Okay, means that we haven't had a bounce to any of top lines for a long time. And if that happens and breaks above these levels, we might actually see a strong on the Aussie dollar for a while before we see any downturn. That's all I'm trying to say. Now, has it totally bottomed out? If everything does tip over, where does it leave Australia? I don't know. But I myself think that the Aussie dollar has bottomed out at least for the next 3 to 6 months. Now, is it going to go lower? Truth is, I don't know. You know, I would have thought personally this was a major support point that I couldn't see it lower than this. But you know what? We trade what we see, not what we think. And it did break it. I had to justify where's it going to stop as the next major support like this line was. Okay, and I concluded this is the next support of major, because the one after that is back at this low. Okay, and the one after that is at this low. So we're talking about a long way. So if that goes, this is what we're going to expect. So I'm betting that this is a major support area for at least 3 to 6 months. That's what I'm betting. Now, it might be more than 3 to 6 months. I don't know. I mean, if China craps out, we'll crap out at the same time. Now, China, the yuan is back with, hedged, not hedged, but sort of what the US dollar does, it sort of responds with it. So if they're going to support it, we're going to get supported. So this is quite interesting. With the US dollar, I think is actually topping out in a lot of places. So this could see fundamentally consolidation, and we could start seeing a trend up, a trend that we haven't seen for a long time. And can it go all the way if it does to here? Who knows? I don't know. Time will tell, but I think we are at a major bottom. That's what I said 2 weeks ago. I was expecting that, and I was scratching my head trying to work it out, because I couldn't believe it'd go down to this levels here. I just couldn't see it. And then I saw, like I said, from here, this low, that low, we cut across to that high, we go across to that high, and we're actually on the bodies here, right on the bodies, not on the lows, on the bodies, and we go across and it bounced off those also. It went touch below it, then come above it, and now it's consolidating above it. So that to me tells me there's major support, at least for 3 to 6 months. I mean, look, you trade what you see, but this is what it's telling, that what I can see, and based on my past experience. I can be wrong, absolutely. We trade what we see, and the pattern suggests consolidation. All right, maybe we'll see something like this, a lot of wild swings. I don't know, but let's watch it carefully here. When we go to the weekly, we can see we hit that target, and right now, that was the flag, the target off the flag. We're seeing consolidation, and again, we have to watch it for a while longer here. And is it going to go only to this level and come back down and this? I don't know, but we've got to see some consolidation here. And if it does break through that, then we can start targeting up, and this will be the next level, what we were looking at before on the monthly. Okay, so when you look at the daily, we really need to see a higher high. We see now a higher low, hopefully, from here. And as we go up, we'll see a higher high, and then we can start drawing lines and going that way and start changing direction and so forth, okay? So this is what I believe is starting to happen on the daily. Now, there really isn't much more I can say about up to the daily level unless we start looking at intraday on the Aussie dollar. Where's the intraday? This is what it looks like on the intraday, and this we're looking at 60 minutes. And let's have a look. Clone. You can see it's at the top of the channel, so don't be surprised we have a bit of a fall. And the beauty of it is this. All right, this is what I like about this. You can see there's your consolidation. Okay, this is your next level. Jeez, excuse me. You can see this consolidation here, and it's tested it here. Quite nice. The fact is, if this now breaks above this point, we really are looking at around this level here, and we start looking at that. I really should have taken it from the target from here to there to across. That's what I really should have done, which is the same spot you can see, but that's the way it is. So I'm suspecting it should go to around 71.5 or thereabouts, and if it manages to break this channel and goes through tonight, this will be a good trade for you intraday traders. If this breaks above this channel, which I suspect it will and break up, well, you really should be looking, first of all, that, like that. And once, I'm going to make an assumption just to do this target, all right? If this red candle is a green one and closes above, and the next one starts in here and back up, your next thing goes to that, to there, and there's your target up here, 71.6 something. Okay, so these are the targets if it does, but you are in a channel at the moment. Okay, so consolidation to the upside. So if you're an intraday trader, that's what I would suspect you can expect next. Okay, now I've pretty much covered everything. I hope I haven't left anything out for anybody. Again, just to recap, trade what you see, not what you think. Okay, really important, trade what you think, not what you think. Also remember, the next webinar, it'll probably be on the Wednesday, not a Thursday in 2 weeks. Like I said, I got my son's graduation ball on that the parents are supposed to participate in. That's today fortnight, Thursday. And I will, if I see anything major that's important, I'll try to run even an earlier webinar if that has to happen. I'll do my best to accommodate that also. If anyone needs anything to be analysed, remember, just send it at webinars at phoenixai.com.au. If you haven't been getting any emails from us for some strange reason, I don't know why, I don't have an answer. If you put in, if you send it to me, your email address, webinars at phoenixai.com.au, please don't just send it, I haven't got anything. Also type in your email address so I can just cut and paste and put it into my database personally. And when I actually modify the email to send the next lot, what I tend to do, also send it to people that had difficulty in the past. If you know anybody else that's got that problem, please just tell them to do just that. Well, I hope it has been beneficial again this Thursday. I hope the market hasn't been too unkind to you, but remember, trade what you see, not what you think. Remember also, this is not personal advice, this is just general investment advice. I wish you the very best and look forward to broadcasting to you next week or next fortnight. Thanks all. Have a good evening.